Today is a question that we often get a lot. How do we prove to ourselves that Allah exists? Well, firstly, the root reason to why we wouldn't believe in Allah is our natural idea to see it to believe it. Like, we know that there's trillions of cells on our body, but if we were to get a microscope and look at our skin cells, we would have that sense of proof in it. Now, I can't promise that a microscope will answer our question because our question comes solely within our faith, but I can give you some types of evidence that will bring us closer to our answer. First is a logic-based evidence. There can't be a letter without a writer. There can't be a car without a manufacturer. So how can you think that this magnificent universe doesn't have a creator? Well, I know the scaling might be a little extreme to some, but we have to keep in mind that all of these things are relative. Also, think of this. If you did stop believing, you think you'd be fulfilled? Or do you think you'd be drowning in unanswered questions about if we have a purpose here or if there even is an afterlife? How I like to think about it is there's an equation, and an equation without Allah has a sum of no purpose. Next is the science-based evidence. Every single sight in nature is just proof of Allah. Look at this plant. This plant requires air, volume, water, and sunlight for it to grow. It takes in carbon dioxide and releases oxygen for it to live. What do you think allows this plant to breathe? Us, as humans, have free will, yet we still don't consciously breathe. How do you think this plant breathes all on its own? It needs an external force. That is where Allah takes us with. Now let's widen our lens. Let's think about the solar system. All of the planets revolve around the sun at a projectile speed on a clear course. It's following the laws of nature because the sun has a gravitational pull and it's strong enough for all the planets to revolve around it. Just like this planet, it's following the laws of nature. However, scientists say there's no rhyme or reason to why they revolve the way they do. They just do. How else can we prove this without talking about the existence of Allah? The way this planet takes in just the right amount of carbon dioxide and the way that the planets revolve around the sun at just the perfect speed and distance is proof of Allah. There is a perfect balance in the universe. The air we breathe is 21% oxygen. Bump that up to 30%. We would have catastrophic damages, our bodies would be damaged, and insects would be huge. Now let's put all the small details to the side. Think about the most important aspect, balance. If we were to lose balance, we would automatically have chaos. And no, I'm not talking about like a government shutdown or insects becoming huge. I'm talking about the complete extinction of life. We are all borrowing space and time in this reality. This reality has laws of nature, and that's time. And when you have time, there needs to be balance. Time and balance are codependent to one another. If I were to make a graph of the reality that we're in right now, it would be a bunch of highs and lows over time, because it's time and balance that keeps this reality thriving. Once we're gone, our souls are going to go to a different reality, not a different planet or galaxy or even a different universe, a completely different reality, a reality where Allah resides in, a reality where there's no time. And like I said before, there's no time, this must mean that there's no balance. Now, think about the extremes of hell and paradise. In this reality, if you were to give any man a car, he'd be jumping with joy. But if you give a millionaire a car, he wouldn't even bat an eye. Why? Because that millionaire is completely saturated. He's saturated by the balance in this reality. However, if you have a place where there's no balance, then you're not going to be saturated. This would prove the existence of hell and paradise, because our lows would genuinely always be our lows, and our highs will always generally be our highs. Paradise and earth would become completely redundant. paradise and hell only thrive when there's no balance nor time. And if you truly believe in paradise and hell, then you have to intuitively believe in the existence of Allah. Now let's move to the faith-based evidence. All of the prophets that we've had so far have evidence backed by them that prove that they were truly prophets. And if you believe that the prophets were real, then intuitively again you have to believe of the existence of Allah. The Quran proves these exact points as well. Way before Prophet Muhammad's time, it was foretold in the Quran that his uncle Abu Lahab would die as an unbeliever. Now, if you were to get an unbeliever and tell them, you're going to die as an unbeliever because the Quran said so, what do you think that unbeliever would do? He would try to prove his point and become a believer, right? But just like how it was stated in the Quran, Abu Lahab really did die as an unbeliever. So it became true. The Quran's true facts are also pointing directly to Allah's existence. To sum up everything that we've talked about, think of it this way. Let's say that there's this beautiful art piece. This art piece doesn't have a known artist. However, when we look at it, we're going to say, yeah, it's beautiful. We just don't know who the artist is. Why can't we think of it the same way for the universe? All the beautiful trees, the animals, when the clouds make those beautiful formations, why can't we say that there's an artist for this, an unknown artist? Well, we can. Using our knowledge, using the types of evidence that we just talked about, not by using a microscope, we can say all of these beautiful things in the universe has an artist, and that artist is Allah. The universe and all of the balance that we have right now is proof of the existence of Allah.